What's up, everybody, and welcome to Weekday Wagers, where if you're not watching, I promise you're already behind. It is a beautiful Monday, and I'm your host, Daniel Greer, and Mark will be joining me very shortly. But we have a lot to get into. We're coming off of a successful Weekend Wagers. If you're not checking out Weekend Wagers, shame. We had a new segment that I promise will be everyone's favorite segment coming up very shortly, because split decision is going to be what everybody ends up talking about. Getting into the saloon, shooting your shot will be awesome, but the split decision, what's going to happen between whoever we have on, because a little birdie told me that Robby is off in 2 weeks. So I'm already working the phones to see who I can get on to go against my guy, Mark. But speaking of Mark, we're live here every Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and Fridays with Weekend Wagers at 2 p.m. Eastern as well. But Mark, welcome to the show. But I got one simple thing for you, sir. What's the word on a Monday? Oh, the word is mute.
Mute. As in, what happened to Toronto's season?
Wow.
It's been muted. It's been shut off. You can't hear it anymore. You don't hear any of the roars up in Toronto on the ice. They don't play anymore. They're done. What a busy weekend. You know, it was to watch the Panthers 6-1 in a game 7. First of all, Toronto, so on brand. And I can't thank you enough. You guys did exactly what you need to do. You pulled through. You kept the mission. You kept the goal in sight. And you finished the job. That's what you had everybody worried that you were trying to win another series. And
Right.
it was cruel to your fans because you gave them a little hope. I don't know if you've seen the videos that are going around on all the social media platforms. Toronto fans are having bonfires where they're throwing their jerseys and piling on and burning their jerseys.
No way.
Yeah, oh yeah. That is not a lie. That's not an exaggeration. That's happening. Now,
Wow.
I get it. You can't spell disappointment without Toronto. You can't spell collapse without Toronto. You can't spell therapy without Toronto either. Maybe they need some.
Between you and Toronto fans and me and OKC fans, we're having some issues. We'll say that for sure. But I'm curious now, like, does this affect them long term, the Maple Leafs? Obviously, you know, we don't want to get into the other Toronto teams, but just in the Maple Leafs, is it just, does it affect them going forward, or you think this is a mentality that they can get past at some point?
You know, that's a great question, because I think that Brad Marchand, who was giving an interview after the game, really hit the nail on the head when he said most people don't realize the pressure that the fans and the media are putting on this Toronto team because of the history. And so it's tough for this team to get out of its own way simply because they're carrying the weight of, you know, history on their shoulders. And so there's a lot of that plays into it. Whereas I think in other organizations where that's not the theme, especially as you enter the postseason, I think it's a lot easier to find that way to get over that hump. So how they deal with this, I don't know. I think a lot of decisions are going to be made here in the offseason about who's still with them and what they're doing to try to build up a team that can be competitive.
Yeah, Brad Marchand, very good player, and I expect them to bounce back next season. I expect them to potentially collapse again, because why not at this point? But somebody else who is collapsing on themselves is Angel Reese, okay? She collapsed by the weight of the world, a.k.a. Caitlin Clark, was pushing on her so hard that she collapsed on the court and had to fall. I know everybody saw it, and we're not going to get into everything that happened, but we saw the push from Angel Reese, which a lot of people don't discuss, on Aaliyah Boston, and that happened. But then Caitlin Clark saw that we had Angel Reese, who probably would have blew the layup just overall, but she did not trust that she would have blown the layup, so she fouled her hard and sent her to the free throw line. She hit 1 or 2 free throws, so it was a successful foul. In the end, it was a flagrant foul. So, Mark, I got a question. What do you make of this whole situation? And do you think it was worthy of enough, I guess, force that they had to give Caitlin Clark the flagrant foul on her foul?
I have 2 issues with this play. The first is the no call that took place before this foul even took place. I think the officials created a situation where a take foul became imminent, and they bear a lot of this responsibility. The flagrant, I think, is a bailout.
Okay.
To kind of offset maybe everything. At the same time, if I'm Angel Reese's coach, how the hell are you not pulling her off to the side, having the conversation about, you get that fired up because of a hard foul? Why don't you get that fired up about making a freaking layup? She missed 3 a wide open end of the quarter layup. She bricks, and yet she's okay. She can just walk off the court with that and not have any, any emotion or display of emotion or disgust with that. Enough.
All right, so I don't mind the missing of the layups and the shots, because I think we understand that she is a player that isn't great around the basket. She has a nose for the rebounds, and that's understandable. That's great.
That's where they're coming from.
The problem is I just think she's putting all this on for a show. But my thing is, I don't think that was a flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark at all. I think it was a hard foul, but I don't think it was flagrant to the point of she was trying to cause excessive force and cause injury. I don't think that it is. But my question to you, this last thing we'll hit on, the push that we saw of Angel Reese pushing on Aaliyah Boston right before Caitlin Clark got her foul. Do you think that the foul then from Angel Reese, if called, should have been a flagrant foul when she pushed Aaliyah Boston?
Yeah, see, as an official, I don't think that that's a flagrant. I think it's the stiff arm and it's the
what?
Oh yeah, no. That's a simple double technical foul on both of them. You knock that stuff off, clean it up. I don't agree with the flagrant foul being that the hard foul getting upgraded to a flagrant. That's the bailout on the officials' part, simply because they're the ones who created that situation in the first place. Well, if you're going to call Caitlin for that push in the back, how did you miss Reese's shove to get the girl out of the line? That just doesn't make sense.
Well, I don't think either one of them should have been a flagrant foul. So it's stupid, it's soft, and we're going to move on, because it's just, all in all, it's creating a lot of separation from fans, and I don't like it. There's a lot of happening that's good in the WNBA. I hope it continues. I hope a lot of the shenanigans off the court, the ill intent that is being stirred up on social media and stuff like that, I think is wrong. And hopefully that all gets squashed and put on the rug. But Mark, we have our plays. We've talked here long enough about everything else, and you're ripping off one hat, and it looks like you're going to the glasses here. So we got a little get serious.
Oh, that's
we got first play, sir.
You got it. Let's go. Let's go stick to the WNBA. We got one game happening on the court tonight, and that is the Seattle Storm and Dallas Wings. I'm taking Seattle Storm -2.5 at -126. I know that Seattle dropped their opener, and they've had 2 days to stew on it, and now they're rolling into Dallas. They've got Skylar Diggins-Smith and Nneka Onwuemeke looking to make a statement. Don't ask me to say that one again. And trust me, they're not coming in quietly. The Wings, yes, I know that they got Paige buckets. They've got young talent, but this is their second game in 3 nights, and they're still trying to figure out rotations. I just think the Storm are healthy. They're pissed off and flat out deeper. Diggins is about to remind the league what a real floor general looks like. I love this at -2.5. It's not a spread. It's a formality. Lay the points and ride the Storm.
I love this. I think the Storm go off on the Wings tonight down in Dallas. So it's back-to-back. So not back-to-back, but Seattle Storm plays Saturday, and now they're traveling from Phoenix to Dallas. And so at that point, we're looking at A road trip, a very early road trip for Seattle. I think it's a good spot to be in instead of having to travel from Seattle all the way to Dallas. It's a shorter trip. You're still on the road. I like that look. All right, I'm going to go to the diamond here. I'm going to go with my pick. It's going to be a hit parlay, 1+ hit parlay for Jose Ramirez and Zach Neto. You might say Neto, I say Neto, but it's plus 111. Jose Ramirez, 10+ game hitting streak. Zach Neto has hit safely 9 of the last 10 games. I expect both these guys in a favorable matchup to get a hit. Both these guys have been good hitters the entire season. One thing I do really like in this matchup is JT Ginn is going up against Zach Neto there for Oakland. But you're on the road, a leadoff hitter for Zach Neto. Because of that, I think you might have 5 potential opportunities to be able to get the hit. I don't know if your face is all messed up, but I really like this matchup just overall.
No, I'm just curious. Who are they playing again?
They're playing the Sacramento Athletics. Whatever. Same team. Who cares where they are? They're the A's. They're playing the A's, guys. But yes, that's who they're playing. Real quick, before we move on to the Daily Dinger, where I am successfully killing it. Mark is here. Another Mark. And it says, Mark is killing the UFL. Keep the winning picks coming.
Mark, the check's in the mail. Thank you, my friend.
Well, I've already said on record, I will have a UFL pick this Friday on Weekend Wagers. So tune in. I'm going to hopefully bet. I'm going to beat Mark to the bet because there's only one game on Sunday. Maybe I look at a Saturday instead because I want to stay away from me and you going head to head. But I might look for a Saturday play. We'll see. But I will have one UFL pick. Because if Mark can do it, anyone can do it at this point. All right, we have our Daily Dinger segment, everybody's favorite segment. Mark, what do you have for Daily Dinger today?
DG, I looked at this board, and I can't believe that we're getting such value on PCA. Pete Crow Armstrong has been on an absolute tear. Forget over his last 30 games where he's batting .342 with 12 home runs. And a slugging percentage of .769, by the way. Forget the last 15 games where he still has a .339 average with 6 homers. Let's talk about his last 10 games. .385, 3 home runs. I love him to go yard here. The weather conditions in Miami, very humid. I love this spot. Serve it up.
How do you feel about the humidity and being indoors there, Marcus?
I don't know if you live in Memphis.
I live in Memphis
area. You guys
it's humid. I can feel it in my nipples right now.
So what happens if you leave the door open for a little bit?
Humidity.
Okay. I great that it's played under a roof. I love it. It just means we're not going to get rained out. What it doesn't mean is that they can stop the weather from coming inside.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so we have one member of our team, Robby Hockey, who's going off the board. He's going with Brent Rooker at plus 400. Your thoughts on Brent Rooker 400 here for Robby?
I don't hate it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't hate it that one at all.
All right, well, mine is going off the board because, one, you made the graphic, and I don't agree with these guys. Well, not every single one of them, but I have one guy who I'm targeting, and we're going to go back to your bowl of humidity down there in Miami, and I'm going to go with a guy who I was on this morning at Coaching Company. I was on Coaching Company as well in BTT Studios when we did the member exclusive. I have Nico Horner for go 3+ hits, runs, and RBIs. They're the away team. He should get his 4th at bat. I'm going to go Nico Horner to go yard. And so I have no idea what the odds. Mark, do you have any idea what the odds are on Nico Horner? Great matchup. Plus, he's hitting .625 going against Edward Cabrera. And so at this point, I'm riding with my guy Nico. I've been riding him all day. I have a good feeling about this. So Nico Horner to go yard.
Dude, this is plus 2,000.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
He's got to be due, right?
All right. So I have his stats pulled up. Last May, he hit 2 home runs. All right. He did not hit any earlier this year. He's not recorded a home run so far. But last May he hit 2 home runs, and then in April he hit a home run. So he's already behind. He hasn't hit one, I'm looking at, until September the 25th of last year. So to your point, Nico Horner is due. Plus 2,000. Put it on the board. Nico Horner is going yard. And that's going to be my daily dinger, and that's where I'm going to stamp it. We're going Nico Horner. I'm going to have a day. I'm going to have a good time. But all right. And you're right, Robby. If he is a guy that goes yard, you're never going to get enough, because I will just consistently hammer that I got Nico at plus 2,000. So this is win-win for me. I'm feeling great. But yes, he is due. Mark, final thoughts on the show on a beautiful Monday.
If anything, I don't care how it happens. I will find a way to watch this Cubs Miami game simply for this reason alone. And there's nobody who's pulling for a Nico Horner home run more than I am right now.
Well, if Nico Horner goes yard, I might go streaking in the quads. But that is it for Weekday Wagers here on a beautiful Monday. Mark will be in the host seat tomorrow, as he has Robby, and that'll be your normal Tuesday, Wednesday matchup. Those two guys will be holding it down. And then I'll be back with Robby on Thursday before we get to our weekend wagers. Thursday, as always, it's TV timeout. Me and Robby have not spoken about Survivor, but now Survivor, if anybody is TV people, our TV timeout segment that we open the show with, we'll be talking a lot about Survivor as well, because we're getting closer to the finale. And Mark, you're going to be jealous of how we're bonding, how we're broing it up over TV timeout. But that's all we have today on this beautiful Monday. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Be nice and tell your friends.